Starting from 16 September 2025 and concluding on 18 September, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, is making a second state visit to the United Kingdom with his wife, the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump. He was received by King Charles III and staying at Windsor Castle. A second state visit by an American president was described by Prime Minister Keir Starmer as historic and unprecedented. Presidents are typically invited for tea with the British monarch if they visit the United Kingdom for a second time during their term of office. But with Trump, everything was so different and so much more lavish. He is getting all the royal treatment. Even George W. Bush and Barack Obama, who served their respective second terms consecutively, were not invited for a second state visit. Trump's special treatment from the royal family. The president is known to be a huge fan of pomp and pageantry, and the royal is eager to deliver. Trump's two-day agenda began with a carriage procession through the Windsor Castle estate, escorted by mounted cavalry, as part of a full ceremonial welcome. From the castle's east lawn, the first couple witnessed a flyover by the Royal Air Force's aerobatic team, the Red Arrows, and a military ceremony known as a beating retreat, neither of which has ever been deployed during a state visit before. Then came the multi-course banquet at St. George's Hall, completed with toasts and speeches, beneath a ceiling decorated with the coats of arms of every single Knight of the Garter since the order was founded in the 14th century. This combination of old-world luxury and military posturing is bound to please the president. In fact, Wednesday's royal parade seems like the very kind of reception he dreams of receiving at home, a notion surely not lost on U.S. protesters who decried June's D.C. parade under the banner "No Kings." By convention, the full pomp and pageantry of a royal welcome, the guard of honor, the cavalry band, the palace's finest silverware, is strictly for the former, making it one of British diplomacy's most powerful tools. And until now, state visits were bound by another unwritten rule: second-term U.S. presidents don't get them. But Trump got it. "We're buttering up to him," Robert Lacey, a royal historian and consultant on the Netflix series The Crown, told the Associated Press this week. He wouldn't come to Britain if he wouldn't have the chance to stay at Windsor Castle, probably pay homage to the late Queen he admires so much, and to meet the King. Highlight moments on 17 September. The Prince and Princess of Wales were the first members of the royal family to welcome Trump and the First Lady at the start of their two-day state visit. The American couple's arrival was accompanied by music from the Household Cavalry Band, who were wearing state dress uniform which was designed in the 17th century and made from pure gold thread. A ceremonial welcome was delivered by 1,500 tri-service personnel and more than 150 horses, demonstrating Britain's unrivaled ceremonial expertise and military precision. The event included a full sovereign's escort, carriage procession, and an extra-large Guard of Honor featuring three of Britain's oldest regiments, the Grenadier Guards, Coldstream Guards, and Scots Guards. President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump were greeted in Windsor's walled garden by the King and Queen. The band of the Household Cavalry performed specially arranged music in state dress, while 41 gun salutes were fired by the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery in Windsor and the Honourable Artillery Company at the Tower of London. Horse-drawn carriages proceed through castle grounds. Trump joined the King and Queen and the Prince and Princess of Wales in a carriage procession through Windsor Castle's grounds, escorted by the Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment. The route was lined by 22 half companies from across the Royal Navy, Army, and Royal Air Force, supported by tri-service bands and corps of drums. The U.S. and British national anthems were played as the procession moved off. Trump and King inspect the Honor Guard. As Trump and King Charles III inspected the Honor Guard, the president walked a few strides ahead of the monarch. This moment was captured and shared on social media, prompting mixed comments. Narinder Kaur, a former Big Brother star in the UK and prominent TV commentator, wrote on X, "Oh God, he's walking in front of the king, like Charles doesn't even exist or matter." But a royal source told Newsweek it is protocol for the visiting head of state to always go first. And in separate footage, shows of the pair on the royal dais in the quadrangle of Windsor Castle, Charles did appear to beckon the president in front of him. Lunch at Windsor Castle. The big set piece welcomed for U.S. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump had now wrapped. The President and First Lady had entered Windsor Castle, where they had lunch with members of the royal family. Trump's View Special Royal Collection exhibition. Following a private lunch in the state dining room, King Charles and Queen Camilla accompanied Donald and Melania Trump to Windsor Castle's Green Drawing Room, where a specially curated exhibition of items relating to the United States has been put on display. The items were tied to the long-shared history of the U.S. and U.K., related to early encounters, independence, and the special relationship. Among the items laid out from the royal collection, a first edition of The General History of Virginia by John Smith, a letter from 1774 to Lord North from King George III, a ticker tape message from Queen Victoria to President James Buchanan in 1858. The Beating Retreat. Some 200 military musicians assembled on the east lawn of Windsor Castle for the afternoon's main set-piece event, the Beating Retreat. The ceremony, which dates to 17th century England, symbolized the end of the day when camp gates were closed and ceremonial flags were lowered. The Beating Retreat featured performances by the bands of His Majesty's Royal Marines, the Royal Air Force, and 16 British Army pipers. This concluded with a joint flypast by UK and US F-35 aircraft, as well as the Red Arrows. The different bands played several pieces of music, concluding with Battle Hymn of the Republic, an American patriotic song written during the U.S. Civil War, and Edward Elgar's Land of Hope and Glory. The massed band also played Golden Friendship, reportedly a favorite of First Lady Melania Trump. The lavishing state banquet at St. George's Hall. The U.S. President and his wife, Melania, wrapped up their first day in the U.K. with a glittering state banquet thrown by his host, King Charles and Queen Camilla at Windsor Castle. Around 150 guests attended a magnificent state banquet within St. George's Hall at Windsor Castle. All of them were power brokers from the worlds of tech, finance, and media, as well as government. The menu for the royal banquet included starters, panna cotta with Parmesan shortbread and quail egg salad. The main course, organic Norfolk chicken bulletine wrapped in courgettes with a thyme and savory infused juice. And for dessert, vanilla ice cream bomb with Kentish raspberry sorbet interior with lightly poached Victoria plums. The 150 guests at the banquet were seated at a single table more than 150 feet long, with 139 candles and 1,452 pieces of cutlery, and served by over 100 staff. The table itself took a week to assemble, a task that was completed on Sunday. The royal household put the seating plan together based on guest lists provided by the British government and the White House. All the women at the state banquet were duly representing their countries with their clothes. Queen Camilla's royal blue silk dress is by Fiona Clare, a British designer. Princess Catherine's gold lace gown is by Philippa Lepley, a London-based couturier. And Melania Trump is in Carolina Herrera, a key New York Fashion Week name. How the Brits feel about Trump visit. As Britain's royal family welcomed Trump to Windsor Castle in a lavish ceremony, the Brit showed him no mercy. "Hey Donald, welcome to Windsor Castle." The anti-Trump demonstrations kicked off on Tuesday evening, shortly after he touched down at London's Stansted Airport. Some 25 miles away, activist group led by donkeys projected a picture of Trump with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein on the walls of Windsor Castle, and unrolled a massive banner of the picture on the castle's grassy lawn. The projected images show news accounts related to Epstein's case, Trump and Epstein smiling together in a photograph, and a replication of the now infamous birthday letter that was given to Epstein for his 50th birthday. That letter features a silhouette of a woman's body and bears a signature resembling Trump's. The president has denied having written it. "Hey Donald, welcome to Windsor Castle," the group said in an Instagram post of the stunt. It also posted a video of a timeline of interactions between the president and the late sex offender, calling it "The Story of Trump and Epstein." Unfortunately, police intervened to stop both political stunts quickly and made arrests over the projection. Representatives of the group behind the banner said they had achieved their goal of seeking to embarrass the president by noting his one-time friendship with the convicted sex trafficker. A spokesperson for Led by Donkeys said in a statement that it was the first time in the group's history that any of its activists had been arrested for taking part in demonstrations involving projections, Britain's PA media news agency reported. Protests and protests. On Wednesday, as Trump traveled to Windsor, protests against the U.S. leader took place in London. London's Metropolitan Police estimated about 5,000 people attended the anti-Trump demonstrations in the British capital. One protester, the son of a Holocaust survivor, said he was protesting against Trump's alliance with Israel amid the ongoing war in Gaza. Another demonstrator, who only gave the name Janet, said that while the UK has to maintain diplomatic relations with the US, the pomp and ceremony is a step too far. I'm protesting against the unprecedented second state visit. Trump, unfortunately, is the president and is allowed to come, but we shouldn't be rolling out the red carpet for a man who is tearing up the American Constitution. Here is the latest cover we have from Trump's trip to the UK in 2025. We can clearly see that the royal is rolling out the red carpet to charm and dazzle President Donald Trump on his historic second state visit with a grand show of pomp and pageantry. Though this behavior was clearly unacceptable to the Brits. What do you think is the reason why the royal family has to break the law and greet a convicted criminal like that? Is there something big going to have happened? USA and Britain going to be allied in a future war? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more breaking news related to the royal family. See you next time!